I would like to touch on a topic today which bridges the gap between our parents and our children, because we are the conduit in between, and it's our duty to make that happen. Sometimes we think by picking a different postcode or moving into a different area, our kids are going to turn out absolutely amazing. But where we disconnect is when we don't spend time with our kids. So you can buy the best postcode in the world, you can buy the best house in the world, and you can go to, your kid could be the only Asian kid in a Gore school. But the most important thing is that you interact with your child. And what I felt was when we were growing up, our parents were so busy, they didn't get a chance to interact with us. And even if they did have a chance to interact with us, we didn't know how to interact with them, how to explain to them who our friends are. And they used to be, which I'm sure they had their reasons. The world's changed now. Social media is changed. I mean, we have our children and we think, they're in their room, locked away, they're studying. But we don't know what's going on behind that door in that room. I mean, it could be that somebody's trying to groom your child over the net. Somebody's trying to groom your daughter. It's a dark web, and it's so important that we understand from our children what they are doing in their spare time behind that closed door. It's very, very important. So take time out and spend it with your child. Let's talk to them. Let's understand. Let's find out who their friends are. Let's find out who they're hanging out with. And I don't mean spying on them, what they're doing, but sit down and talk to them. What have they searched? What have they Googled? What have they been on? Who was they talking to? Because the last thing you want is somebody grooming your child or somebody leading them into the dark web. It's such a serious, serious place out there, and it's so dangerous. Children can get brainwashed. When I was growing up, we never had that opportunity to explain ourselves to our parents or even talk to them, because there's a big cultural gap. I couldn't explain to my dad, I'm going out to do skateboarding, or I'm going out to do some form of hanging out with my friends, because he wouldn't understand that. It was a cultural and a generation gap between us. But I think especially my generation now, when we've got kids growing up and we've grown up here, we understand all of this. So it's so important to take that time out to spend with your children and allow them that time. Be their friends. Don't be the father, be the brother. Don't be the mother, be the sister. Let your daughter come and speak to you. Let your son come and speak to you. Have that open relationship with them, because communication is absolutely paramount. We break communication, we lose communication. What happens is somebody starts infiltrating their mind. They start brainwashing them. They start telling them it doesn't have to be grooming. They could be smoking in their room. They could be taking some form of narcotics. But if we don't have that relationship, the trust, the openness, the open dialogue with our children, we don't know what's going on behind them doors. We think they're studying. ਉਹ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਆਪਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਬਹੁਤ ਚੰਗੀ ਆ, ਕਮਰੇ 'ਚ ਬੈਠੀ ਆ, ਮੁੰਡਾ ਸਾਡਾ ਕੰਪਿਊਟਰ ਤੇ ਲੱਗਾ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ. You don't know what he's doing on the computer. And I'm not saying that when he's on the computer it's wrong, but it's important for you to then go and sit with them for a little time and say, look, let's talk about what you're doing. How was your day at school? Did you have a great day at school? Is something bothering you? You have that interaction. I'm sure you do, but don't make the same, I wouldn't call it a mistake, but let's bridge that gap that we couldn't have with our parents because of that generation gap. So when you get to that point, it's so important to actually understand your child, what their passions are, what they want to do. Don't try to live your life through your child that you want it to be. Allow the child to express themselves. Don't push the dream down. You have to be a dentist, you have to be a doctor, or you have to be an engineer because your granddad was one and I always wanted to be one. That's not what it's about. The world has changed. Sit down with them, nurture them, understand what their passion is. If somebody wants to be a football player, if he wants to be a tennis player, she wants to do ballet or play the violin, allow that. Promote that. If they want to go into politics, we don't have enough representation in politics. We must allow the child to do and encourage them to what they're passionate about. That's the most important thing, and you'll get the best out of them. Not, you've got 3 options: doctor, dentist, accountant. Take your pick. And the guy or the girl is not interested in any of them because she's more into arts. She wants to be an architect. She wants to be a graphic designer. She might want to be a dancer. She might want to be a news reporter. Encourage them to do what they want, because you'll get a lot more out of your child and they'll love you for it. Instead of pushing it down their throat, you want to live what you should have done through their lives or through their eyes. It doesn't work like that. Allow your child to grow. They're like birds. Give them the wings to fly. So I know many people of my age and my generation who are not happy when they get up in the morning. They hate going to work, to what they do, because they didn't have a choice in that. They wanted to do something else, but they're doing it because their Nana ji did it, or their Baba did it, and they have to do it because Dad couldn't do it, so they have to do it. They're not happy. And it's so important to have that happiness, because it creates a real good, healthy situation within inside you. And if you're happy with inside, you will only push out happiness, you'll breathe happiness and positive energy. So it's very, very important to do what you're passionate about. And we must support them as parents. We must support that person, because let's not make these same errors of that's already happened. And I'm not blaming our parents. They didn't know better. They didn't know any better, because when they came to this country, or whatever country, when they left their country, when they left Punjab or India, they came to a country which they had nothing, they didn't know anything about. So they wanted to deliver something which carries a lot of respect, because they didn't know anything else. And they thought a doctor, an engineer, or an accountant, or a dentist, these are the things that carry all the respect in the world. There's other professions that carry far more respect than that. So let's not work on what society thinks and what loki ki sochenge, or meri kuri dance kar diya. If that's what makes him happy, allow it. Let him do that, or let her do that. I hope everything I spoke about today, there is some form of connection between yourself, your children, and your parents, and it has some value. We can actually make a change.